when a magical being by the name of Riri places Anzu in a real-life dating simulation. Her life of playing video games, eating chocolate, and playing with her cat is completely turned upside down. He takes away her 3 pleasures in life to get her to concentrate. To Anzu's horror, her cat has vanished, all her snacks and chocolates have vanished, and all her video games have been changed into eel jerky. Additionally, he arranges for his father to be sent abroad, leaving her home alone. To her dismay, she tries to look for chocolates and sweets all over the city, but they are all gone. She decides not to play along with Riri's game and commits not to fall in love with any of the boys he sends her way. Tsukasa, the first boy she meets, is the result of a collision that causes him to drop and break his phone. She apologizes before frantically running away. The following day, Riri explains that they are free to talk as no one will hear them because of his magic. At the station, Anzu runs into Kazuki and his friend and sees him reject a love letter from another girl. She decides not to fall for Kazuki because of thinking he is haughty. She tells Saki, a friend, about her new living circumstances. Saki goes on to say that because of Kazuki's aloof and cool demeanor, he is very well liked by the girls. Anzu lies motionless on the couch with nothing to do. She is compelled to leave the house when she sees a cockroach flying toward her. She seeks refuge in a nearby park after being unable to return home, but rain unexpectedly begins to fall. She runs into Kazuki again as she laments her predicament. He offers Anzu his umbrella, but she declines out of concern that it might result in a romantic interaction. As he drags her back to his house while sharing an umbrella, he grows irritated. Anzu feels uncomfortable being in the home of a boy who lives alone, and she visualizes her cat and some of her favorite video game characters sitting on top of Kazuki's face. When he finds out about the cockroach, he finds it amusing and offers to kill it for her. They go back to her house, where she eventually charges him with a football after being startled. She ends up on top of him, turning this into a romantic scenario. The cockroach interrupts their moment, and after a few panicked seconds, Kazuki kills it. Kazuki is trapped inside her home because of a typhoon that Riri arranged. She decides to prepare dinner for them, but when Riri teases her that this is an excellent opportunity to showcase her culinary abilities, she serves cup noodles instead. She extends a nighttime invitation to Kazuki after realizing that resistance is pointless. Later, she dons the ugliest attire imaginable to avoid romantic encounters. Anzu defeats Kazuki in a game of life after winning 4 consecutive games of Reversi. The loser of the game must make their lunch for the following day. Riri manipulates the system to benefit Kazuki, lavishing him with wealth while driving Anzu deeper and deeper into debt, mostly by stepping in dog poop. Even though he ultimately prevails, he still offers to assist Anzu in making their bento boxes. Kazuki is a great chef because of his experience working part-time at a bar. Anzu's egg rolls, on the other hand, end up burning. Anzu changes her mind about Kazuki while they are cleaning up and feels at ease around him. Kazuki has the chance to sit by Anzu's side as Riri puts her to sleep because he is frustrated that none of his plans have been successful. He remarks that it has been a while since he has had this much fun. Anzu wakes up feeling ashamed about spending the entire night curled up on Kazuki's lap. She receives his thanks for letting him stay the night before he departs, but he returns shortly after to say that his entire apartment was flooded. He skips class that day and calls his teacher on Anzu's phone to let her know. Anzu leaves for school and mulls telling Saki about her situation while he looks for a new place to stay. After purchasing a new phone, Kazuki calls her out of the blue and requests a meeting after school. Riri is primarily to blame, though she feels bad for having caused his phone to malfunction. To check on Kazuki, a teacher calls him. Rena and Yukika, 2 girls who are interrupting, switch the call to a speaker and are shocked to hear Anzu's voice instead. Kazuki, in the meantime, is uncomfortable with being the center of attention inside a cafe. When Anzu does finally show up, he is upset to see Rena and Yukika accompanying her. He drags Anzu outside and flees because he doesn't want to deal with them. She apologizes for upsetting him, but Kazuki clarifies that he just isn't interested in dating right now. He expresses his gratitude to Anzu for never bothering him in any way and says that she makes him feel at ease. Then he gets a call saying there are no apartments left. Lacking a place to stay, he requests permission to stay at Anzu's house for a month in exchange for helping around the house. Anzu concurs and feels bad about breaking his phone, but he also understands that this was all part of Riri's plan. The following morning when she answers the door, Junta, a tall man, who claims to be her childhood friend, is waiting for her. Anzu's love triangle officially begins when Kazuki exits the door. Anzu quickly explains the reason that Kazuki is staying at her home before rushing inside to get her belongings. Kazuki and Junta assess one another and realize they are competitors. Anzu confronts Riri about his interference and believes that he has somehow been brainwashed by him. He explains that she has been the object of his affection since middle school, and all she needs to do is accept them. Junta complains that a hot guy like Kazuki is staying at her house as they walk to school together. She reassures him that they are just friends and that neither of them is interested in dating. She has a large Hercules beetle on her hair, which Junta pulls out. As they pursue it, Junta catches Anzu after Riri accidentally causes her to fall, and they share a moment. They come across Saki, whose memories are also thought to have been altered. Anzu is relieved that Junta seems like an easy person to get along with as the three of them walk to school together. Rina tries to get Kazuki's new phone number elsewhere, but she gets upset when he rejects her. Through their friends, Junta and Kazuki keep getting to know one another better, and they both start to feel threatened by the other. Later, Kazuki calls Anzu to switch lunchboxes. His friend Makoto joins them, and the three of them decide to eat lunch together. Makoto offers to share a chocolate cornet with Anzu after she sees it, but a physical barrier created by Riri prevents her from doing so. Rina and Yukika call her out behind the school building to intimidate her after observing her eating lunch with Kazuki. Rina asks her to arrange for them because Anzu is adamant that they are just friends. Knowing that Kazuki is not interested in dating, she declines because she does not want to pressure her friend. She is overheard by Kazuki and Junta, who are moved by her thoughtfulness. Rina and Yukika start to act rowdier, but an unfamiliar girl appears out of nowhere and uses backhanded compliments to compel the two to leave. Anzu carefully examines the area and discovers that Riri is there. Junta and Kazuki are invited by Riri to a dinner party at Anzu's home. Anzu tries to be as unattractive as she can, but Riri does everything in her power to stop her, which leads her to trip over Kazuki. Junta regrets that he is no match for Kazuki and feels threatened by his many advantages. To liven up the situation, Riri suggests that Kazuki stay at Anzu's house for an extended period, but he chooses not to impose. Anzu tries to silence her when she insists Junta stay instead. She grabs Riri's wand and drags her outside to get ice cream, but her wand ends up getting stuck in dog poop and she is unable to perform any magic. Kazuki assures Junta that he has no desire to date Anzu in the interim. Anzu's friends remark that she is now surrounded by hot guys and express their jealousy over her sudden closeness to Kazuki. Anzu returns home and immediately falls asleep after a rather exhausting day. She is awakened by a loud noise and thinking that Riri is robbing her of her possessions once more, she storms into his mother's room, where she discovers an underwear thief. She chases him out of the house because she is irrationally upset that he ignored her underwear and went straight for her mother's. Junta, who was only supposed to deliver food, helps the police catch the thief. Junta gets a call from his mother after giving the man to the police, telling him to stay at Anzu's house out of concern for her safety. Anzu is appalled because it's now simpler than ever to fall in love. As Junta and Kazuki move into Anzu's home, everything is going according to Riri's plan. Thankfully, she has a part-time job now, so she spends less time interacting with them. Later, despite Anzu's vehement denial, Junta's friends speculate that the box lunch he received was made by him. Another time a girl approaches Kazuki, he politely declines her advances. The following day, Kazuki extends an invitation to Anzu to accompany him on a shopping trip, but is frustrated to discover that all her clothes have cat prints and that she has no outfits suitable for going out. Anzu's rough exterior is changed dramatically by Riri, who also gives her a conventionally beautiful face. Anzu feels a little insecure because Kazuki is taken aback by her new appearance. The two go to the mall, where Anzu learns that Kazuki frequently dons hats to disguise himself, but it doesn't seem to work. Anzu chooses a dress after a while, remarking that it is her first piece of clothing without a cat on it. To use the restroom, Anzu leaves Kazuki alone. He begins to feel uneasy from all the looks he seems to draw. Soon after, he starts to panic, but Anzu arrives just in time to calm him down. The two return home to watch a scary movie with Junta after saying their goodbyes and thanking Kazuki for the invitation. Anzu is content with the current situation and has no intention of jeopardizing the friendship she has developed. But the following day, Anzu wakes up late and rushes to school. According to Riri's plan, a car crashes into her and reveals a third man who was meant for her. Following the incident, the arrogant Kagane and his aide Tsuchiya accompany Anzu to school. Kagane's egotistical actions offend Anzu, so she is not shocked to learn that he is referred to as the prince at school.